pang ilan sila ang tumigil talaga ng operation or may bilang na po kayo ng mga sumusunod? Yes, General Villanueva.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. We've been monitoring yung mga supposed to be canceled POGO na, sir, ma'am. But unfortunately, pag nag-inspect kami, ma'am, minsan kasama ako sa inspection, ma'am. Tinataboy kami ng security guard kasi ang sinasabi sa amin, canceled na to. Ibang company nitong naka ano dito. So we asked the help of the LGUs. Actually, we wrote one LGU to asking for their assistance, but parang wala naman nangyari, ma'am, eh. Kaya nagpapatulong kami sa mga ma'am, sa mga law enforcement agencies to assist us in inspecting this canceled POGO. Ang balita ko, ma'am, sa Makati marami.
Tinataboy kayo ng mga security guard?
Security. Kasi ang paliwanag nila, bagong company na to, at wala kayong power na para mag-inspect. Kasi kinancelled na nga tapos bago na daw yung nag-o-occupy na company. Yun ang palaging nila, ma'am, rason.
Pero yung mga dating kumpanya na kinanselan nyo ng lisensya at kahit yung mga di umanong bagong kumpanya, di naman sila makakapag-operate without the license from PAGCOR. Wala silang karapatang itaboy kayo. Kayo ang may say kung mag-ooperate pa rin sila or hindi na sila mag-ooperate.
Madam Chair,
yes, General.
Nagpalit po ng mga pangalan to yung iba. Pero may signature pa rin ng mga dating company, ma'am. Kaya nire-report namin yan, ma'am. In fact, we were able to report 155 reports to the different agencies. And we coordinated. I'm in the loophole, ma'am, with the intelligence community. Yung sa Hongsheng, ma'am, yung sa Sunyuan, mas malalim pa po yung alam ko doon. Maybe I can share with you in an executive session because I don't want to jeopardize the operation of all those who are helping us right now. I've been with the intelligence organization for 23 years. So marami po akong kaibigan sa police, sa NICA, sa ISAP. So but yung sa PAOK, yan ang palaging tumutulong po sa amin, ma'am. And kasama din namin sila sa mga and sila yung nagko-confirm talaga yung mga targets. And that's why pag may mga raids, ma'am, ini-inform kami talaga nila ng PAOK, ma'am.
Salamat, General. The committee may take you up on your offer of that executive session. Pero time check lang po, dear colleagues, it's 1:17 and Chair's hoping to suspend by 1:30. So, but Sen. Sherwin and I will ask our maybe last few questions for this hearing in the next quarter hour. So to continue with PAGCOR, when a POGO is cancelled or POGO license is cancelled, ano pong nangyayari sa mga foreign nationals na employed sa enterprise na yun?
Ma'am, we see patterns like Hongsheng, ma'am. A lot of these foreigners, they just we monitor them in Cagayan or in the Northern Luzon. Parang umiikot sila, ma'am, sa mga ibang lalo na yung mga illegal or mga canceled POGOs na. Parang umiikot sila. Like for example, ma'am, yung last April 2, I was involved in a raid together with CIDG. In multinational subdivision, ma'am, Parañaque. At 2:37, we raided the place, rescued 9 Filipinas laborers na hindi pinapaswelduhan and arrested 9 Chinese. Sabi nila parang high value individuals daw to kasi may bodyguard, ma'am, eh. May bodyguard siya na Pilipino. In fact, nakuhanan pa namin ng baril, ma'am, 2 baril. And nagsisinungaling pa nga sa akin, ma'am, pero ako rin nakahuli nung baril niya. Kasi alam ko nagsisinungaling siya sa akin. So, nakita namin na itong mga to, galing din sa mga dating, ito yung mga spillover, ma'am. Kaya nga, yung suggestion ko sa mga law enforcement, mas magandang i-read na lang to para ma-deport. Kesa i-cancel natin yung lisensya lang nila, tapos mag-spread out sila, ma'am eh. Mag-spread out sila eh. So, sabi ko nga, kaya itong sa Sunyuan, as early as July 2023, may report na kami sa PAOK niyan, ma'am. They received it on 10 July 2023. And then I coordinated with the mga intelligence organization. Doon ko nalaman na parang may dynamics talaga tong mga dynamics. Parang umiikot lang sila. But regarding yung mga legal talagang IGLs as against yung mga illegal, mas maraming illegal, ma'am, na mga guerrilla operations. Yung mga guerrilla type operation pala. And may mga patterns na sila. And these are itong mga high value individuals, ma'am, na nakita sa Parañaque. Parang related siya, no, doon sa Sunyuan. Ito yung isa ng mga nakatakas. That's why I'm requesting PAOK yesterday, ma'am, baka ma-identify nila yung mga hinahanap nilang individuals. And nasa kulungan po ngayon ng CIDG. So, maraming tumutulong sa amin ngayon, ma'am, because we're desperate actually to read out illegal gambling, illegal pogo. Or yan, ang pogo nga sa amin, ma'am, pag sinabi namin pogo, illegal yan. Pag sinabi namin pogo, that is illegal. And they should be busted or to be raided. Kasi pag ika-cancel lang namin yung mga ganun, ma'am, mas maganda pang, kasi nag-spread out sila all over the Philippines. In fact, we have numerous targets in the Visayas. Mas madami din to. And I'm very optimistic with the help of a lot of the law enforcement agencies. And medyo nagiging close na nga ako sa kanila, ma'am, kasi sa dami ng pangungulit ko din sa kanila. And of course, even DOJ, we even requested some assistance from DOJ on human trafficking. We're doing our best, ma'am, to the best of our ability. And ang may shortcomings lang kami because yung mga tao ko naman, hindi naman ganun ka galing na inspectors na like, parang police siyang maghanap. In fact, ako nahirapan din ako maghanap doon sa compound, ma'am, ng nung Baofu. Kasi
Thank you, General.
napaka-elaborate, ma'am, yung nila cover nila doon.
Salamat po. We'll be asking follow-up questions about that perhaps at the next hearing. Pero madako lang sa Bureau of Immigration sino pong magsasalita for BI? Yes, sir. Again, Attorney Santos, Chief Santos. Just a follow-up question. Many foreign nationals have been discovered with expired work visas. So ano yung nagiging policy ng Bureau of Immigration sa ganyang scenario?
For those involved in POGOs, as long as the PAGCOR has informed us, ma'am, we issue an order for them to leave the Philippines and include them in the blacklist. In case of non-compliance, it will be already for deportation. It can be a ground for deportation.
Salamat. So we'll probably have to follow that up also in terms of implementation kasi gaya ng sinasabi din ni Retired General Villanueva, kanselan man nila yung lisensya ng IGL and supposedly ang isang epekto nun yung OGL, yung Online Gaming Employment License ng mga foreign nationals automatically cancel pero parang ang may lumalabas na pattern, nagre-recycle lang sila. So there may be a number na kailangan talagang i-facilitate yung pag-uwi nila, failing that, deportation procedures. So, salamat po. Yes, please, Sen. Sherwin.
Sir, can I continue some questions to PAGCOR? I think yung pinakamalaking elephant in the room was the issue of PAGCOR, may office doon sa Hongsheng. In fact, napuntahan namin yan nung nag-inspect kami ng chairperson. And nakita ko talaga, no? May PAGCOR office doon. Sa kabilang banda, natuwa ko dahil at least hindi na kayo mag-inspect dahil nandun na kayo. Sa kabilang banda, anong nangyari? Merong kayong opisina doon, pero mangyari pa rin to. So my first question is, ilang tao po ang naka-assign doon sa office na yon? At ano yung kanilang responsibilidad?
Yung office namin po dun sa dun po sir we started it in November 9, 2023 because we consider Sun Yuan as a high-risk IGL. There are about 14 high-risk IGLs na minomonitor po namin ngayon. Ngayon, pag high-risk siya, sir, Madam Chair, naglalagay kami ng 24/7 duty. So, may mga reports na rin kami natanggap during the time. As early July nga, kaya naglagay kami ng office dyan. And ang shifting niyan, sir, every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. So, nagpapalit-palit yung mga tao dyan. Nagpapalit-palit yung mga tao namin dyan. Hindi yung isang team, hindi niya nakakasama yung mga team members niya the next time around. Kasi sinachapol namin mabuti. Because we believe that for every group, there will always be good souls. No? There will be always good souls who will report to us the true nature of the Sun Yuan. So may mga lately, ma'am, sir, we reported already this to the OGLD, and the OGLD were supposed to issue yung mga show cause. Marami yun, sir. In fact, gusto pa namin lunurin sila sa fines para mag-close down sila. Kasi pinakamababa namin fine yata is $10,000. Just like 2023, marami tayong na-fine talaga. Ito naman yung mga violations na usually like, for example, hindi pinapasok yung PMT namin. Ano yun? Malaking fine na yun, sir. So yung kung makikita nyo, sir, ang binabantayan lang ng mga nung PMT namin is that building na naandun yung second, third, and fourth kung saan yung mga nakaregister mismo dun sa PAGCOR. So, ang problema nun, sir, yung mga adjoining buildings, hindi na namin ma-inspect, may mga bakod. Kasi BOFO na yun, sir. Yung building lang ng Sun Yuan na may second, third, and fourth, yun lang ang talagang binabantayan namin. Kasi wala na rin kaming access doon sa mga villas, doon sa mga construction site, yung mga bodega nila. So parang wala na rin kaming jurisdiction doon, sir. That's why I'm asking the law enforcement. Sabi ko, i-read na natin to once and for all kung talagang para ma-deport natin yan. Kasi pag ika-cancel din lang namin, sir, mauulit-uli yung sa Hongsheng, pupunta na naman ng Northern Luzon yan, which is wala na kaming jurisdiction because under na siya ng CESA. So yun ang namin, may symbiotic relationship sila between yung nasa norte at saka yung naandito sa Central Luzon. So yun nakikita po namin, Mr. Senator.
General, actually mas dumami yung aking katanungan. Anong definition ng high risk in your is that term high risk in your manual? Is that in your manual?
For the framework, sir.
Is that in the framework? So I would assume you are now creating what we call a risk profile.
Yes, sir.
Tama? Is that written?
It's not in our in the internet gaming regulations, but they are developing po the monitoring and enforcement regulations wherein they are classifying the licensees based on the manifestations or risks po na pinopost
So
niya.
there's no formal document classifying
Yes,
POGOs
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. There's
on
no
a risk
formal document.
basis.
Yes.
Pangalawa, sino nagde-decide kung high risk ka, low risk ka, medium risk ka?
Our department and the compliance monitoring and enforcement department agrees po kung we think that this licensee is high risk or medium risk or low risk. It depends po on different factors such as the equipment po that they use in their operations, the type of operations po that they are currently doing, if they have been in violation in the past, or kung meron po silang mga mas marami po silang employees, or kung meron na pong mga na-report po na activities na bago or haven't been observed in the past in their operations po.
There's no formal document classifying the risk, classifying POGOs based on the risk. Walang formal document. Pangalawa, there's no formal procedure in the classification. Kumbaga, pinag-uusapan nyo na lang. Tama po ba?
We have an internal list po, but we don't have yet the formal procedure on how we determine
At
po.
pangatlong tanong ko, alam na pala ninyo high risk, ba't tinuloy?
Sir, as explained po kanina ni General RV, gusto rin po namin kasi na maalis na rin po yung mga ganong klaseng companies. We also want po na hindi na rin po kumalat yung ganitong activities. It's also part of the long haul operation po eh. Kasi sir, when they applied, we base our recommendation on the submitted documents, submitted documentary requirements, everything that they have to comply. But later on, makikita na lang po whether or not they're complying with the regulations based on their operations. And then we issue enforcement actions such as show cause orders, notices of demerits, as well as fines and penalties if based on our manual, meron po silang violations. At the same time, we also send reports to law enforcement agencies for validation of the observations of our PAGCOR monitoring team. Because we admit that our PAGCOR monitoring team are not trained law enforcement agents. Wala po silang kakayanan na ma-determine ito ba ay ganito or ito ba ay dapat ng ganito. So we ask the help of the law enforcement agencies para po tuluyan na po na matugunan kung ano man po yung problem.
Sana parang common sense eh. If it's high risk, we should have shut down the facility. Diba? Wag na nating, alam ko yung sinasabi ni General, nakakalat sila. Diba? I get that point. But at the same time, by allowing them to operate, tuloy-tuloy yung kanilang human trafficking, tuloy-tuloy yung kanilang scamming, tuloy-tuloy yung kanilang torture. Diba? So with that mentality, nagtuloy-tuloy sila. No?
However, sir, kasi po, kagaya po, binabantayan namin yung 2, 3, 4. Hindi naman po doon nakita yung mga actual scamming activities. So, wala pa pong nakita doon na
I think that's wrong. Based sa report ng PAOK, doon nga yung basis ng search warrant nila eh. The search warrant is in floor 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Tama mo ba?
The search warrant, sir, is for the whole compound.
But yung na-discover yung may problema is 3rd, tama ba? 2nd, 3rd, 4th?
Meron din po doon, but yung mas marami sir yung sa may warehouse.
But meron din doon. That's the one we went to, di ba? Sinamahan nyo kami ni chairperson doon sa building. Tapos nakita namin, may picture pa nga eh. Nakita namin may notebook. Di ba? Nakita natin yung mga kalat-kalat pa yung gamit. Correct. So in other words, present yung scamming in floors 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That's what we inspected eh. We saw it with our own eyes kasi kalat-kalat pa yung mga gamit nila eh. So the question is, kung merong PAGCOR employee doon, 24/7, bakit nakalusot to sa kanila? And then second, naimbestigahan ba itong mga empleyado? Maganda nga, nagpapalit-palit tayo. Pero kalaban natin dito, mga marunong maglagay at marunong manuhol. Kahit magpalit-palit tayo dyan ng 1,000, kung magaling sila manuhol, wala rin eh. Did we investigate all of these people? Yung mga empleyado ho ninyo? Hindi naman porket nagpalit-palit sila, wala silang culpability.
Yes, sir. I'm monitoring them, sir. But as early as July, we submitted already a report to the law enforcement agencies. Maybe they should have acted it on also.
Madam
That's why
Chair,
we're asking the help of the law enforcement agencies, sir.
if I may
Senator
po,
Win, with your indulgence, Dr. Casio, you'd like to interject
Senator-
briefly, please.
I concur with the statement by the good general. As early as July of last year, they submitted a report to the commission. We received that and we've been evaluating that. Unfortunately, up until that time, we could not find a complainant who would satisfy our application for the warrant. And it became fortunate for us on February 25 when we found one complainant and we got a letter from the Malaysian embassy, and that necessitated our action.
Would suggest that since you already started yung risk profiling, pag high risk, wag na natin i-operate yan dahil nagtuloy-tuloy yung torture. Tuloy-tuloy. Buti nga meron lumabas na nag-complain. Kung hindi nag-complain yan, hindi natin alam. Baka ilang taon na nag-ooperate yan. Tapos, ang daming human traffic at maraming natu-torture. And then there's another issue, Madam Chair, with your permission. No? You mentioned earlier that si Zun Yuan was given provisional authority. I think, when was that, attorney? When was it given?
Based on their application po, October 28, 2023 po.
2023. My question is, mayroon ba sa guidelines nyo issuance of provisional license? Is that part of your guidelines?
Yes, sir. When we changed po our regulatory framework, we also issued po, the PAGCOR Board of Directors po approved the issuance of provisional
Yeah,
licenses.
but is it in your guidelines na you can apply for a provisional license?
No po, it has become the prerogative of the board po na instead of granting a regular license, they are granting po muna a provisional license with a short period while the probity check is undergoing.
Correct. So there's nothing in your guidelines describes the process of issuing provisional licenses.
Yes, sir.
Correct? So that animal is only created by the board.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ano ang minimum capitalization under your new guidelines?
Under the new guidelines po, 100 million pesos po.
Correct. And by the time nag-apply si Zun Yuan, anong capitalization?
Nasa 15 or 10 million pesos po.
Ang kanyang capitalization at the time when they applied is 25.
Sorry, sir. Okay.
So pasok ba siya o hindi?
When it applied po, hindi pa po siya pasok dun sa IGL requirements.
Correct.
Yes. Just to disclose po to this body, the Zun Yuan po was formerly a service provider under a POGO licensee.
That's the point. There's no such thing as provisional license. That's number one. Number two, by the time they applied, hindi siya pasok sa minimum qualification ninyo of capitalization. Correct, attorney?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Tapos high risk pa siya. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Bakit natin pinayagan mag-operate?
Actually, sir, when we gave po the provisional license, they are still undergoing vetting po or the probity check. Kasi po, diba, as we have explained
But
in
the
the
provisional license created problems. They're not qualified in regards to capitalization. There's no such thing as provisional. Dapat simple lang eh. Approve or disapprove. If you have the qualification, approve. Anong nangyari? Hindi sila qualified, binigyan natin ng provision. Nag-operate sila ngayon. High risk pa. That's number one. And then number two, you also mentioned probity. I showed earlier a picture of, that is the president of Hongsheng, which is a duly licensed POGO licensee. Kanina yung COMSEC namin, pumunta sila kagabi, 10 p.m., no, COMSEC? Kay Jemeline Cruz, nowhere to be found. No such address. And in your guidelines, in rule number 9, regulation number 9, section 3, kasama dito yung probity check. So what happened? May probity check pero fake address. Hindi kasama sa capitalization, hindi pasado. And yet, pinayagan natin mag-operate. And then discover pa, high risk. So in other words, all of these scenarios are already red flags for them not to operate. That's my point. There's no go signal for them to operate. Everything is a red flag. Bakit pa natin pinayagan mag-operate?
I think kasi, sir, the totality of what you have mentioned po happened through time. So during the grant of the provisional license, there was no indications yet of these characterizations. So that's the reason po why they were still given a provisional
But
license.
I think when they cannot fulfill the capitalization, that's already a no-go.
They are during the process po, during the grant of the provisional license, they have been able to complete po, or they have been able to submit to us the approval of their increase of capital stock of 100 million.
Not on the records. And you said kanina, by the time they applied, hindi pa sila fulfilled in capitalization. So in other words, dapat bumalik sila sa inyo, tapos na yung kanilang increase in capitalization. So my point is we're violating our own guidelines. That's my point. And because we're violating our own guidelines, nangyayari itong mga krimen na ito. So my suggestion to PAGCOR, kung itutuloy nyo ito, let's stick to our guidelines. But like I said in my opening statement, after all of these things, kami nga ni General Villanueva madalas nakikita sa ganito, dapat itigil na itong kalokohan na ito. Kung hindi matatapos tong hearing natin, parati tayong magkikita, Attorney Manahan and General Villanueva, parati tayong magtatalo dito. Because hindi natatapos to. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Sen. Sherwin. I'd like to now ask a couple of questions to the UNODC. Thank you so much for waiting almost 4 hours. I know you traveled here from Bangkok. Mr. Wojcik, is that the correct pronunciation?
Yes, Senator. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Just a couple of questions, and if you could address them briefly, but perhaps submit in writing to the committee any fuller response in the interest of time, but with appreciation for your presence here and your patience. First, could you give us a sense of the scale of the problem, especially where the Philippines is in comparison with our regional counterparts?
Thank you very much, Senator, and it's a great pleasure to be here with this body to be able to provide some insights into this regional issue, first and foremost. Just quickly, for my own sake, let me first state that I'm here in my capacity representing the UN ODC as a organized crime and threat monitoring analyst, focusing across the region on this issue. With respect to the scale, it's quite clear that these interconnected transnational organized crime groups are not merely targeting the Philippines, they are targeting other jurisdictions across the region. Casinos and increasingly online casinos, crypto integrated casinos, and primarily under-regulated or illegal operators have quite clearly driven some large challenges in the organized crime space. With respect to the scale of the problem, we're quite obviously speaking about a multi-billion-dollar criminal industry across the region, taken together. And with respect to the question on the comparison, I think it's difficult to say. Obviously, the enforcement action by many of our partners here today proves that there are considerable challenges within the jurisdiction in the Philippines. But to say that they, to be able to compare between those that are particularly acute in the Mekong region, for instance, would be difficult to say. I think the problems are different. They are diverse, especially in the context of a regulated jurisdiction such as the Philippines. There's different infrastructure to target for organized crime, and they operate differently between jurisdictions. With that said, I would say that the Mekong, specifically the countries in the Mekong region, are of a particular focus for organized crime groups. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving us in broad but already quite eye-opening strokes the response to that first issue, and we'd really appreciate even more detail in writing after today's hearing. And though you said it's hard to compare us with other countries, perhaps the Philippines is a peculiar case given where we are in terms of the geopolitical dynamics and current tensions in the West Philippine Sea. But are there also national security dimensions cropping up in your investigation of transnational crime and scam complexes in other jurisdictions as well?